Here we are at the Branson International Film Festival with screenwriter Sharon Bushey. Sharon's entered a screenplay into our festival this year, and so Sharon, tell us the name of your film and what inspired you to write it.
My film is called Heartbeat, Come What May. During the film, there's a lot of times when people's hearts are discouraged and their hearts need to beat again. And then there's also the piece of it where there is the need for a heart transplant and a need for a donor heart. But Heartbeat, Come What May.
That's great.
The name of it.
Awesome. So what inspired you to write this film?
Megan, the main character in this film, and it is based on a true story, is my niece, my brother's daughter. And I was newly retired when she was taken to Barnes Hospital there in St. Louis, and her name was on the heart transplant list. And so I had the passion to go be with my brother and his wife and support them there at the hospital. So I've always loved to write, so I packed my journal and I packed a car trunk load of clothes and my sleeping bag and pillow, and I went for the duration, however long it would take. And so I was the only family member that never left the hospital.
Wow.
And so for 25 days I slept on the waiting room benches and with journaling emotions, all of the conversations with doctors, with nurses, our scriptures that God was giving to us, the things that we were learning, the impact we were having on other patients because of Megan's faith. And through this whole time, Megan was instilling in us, and she just kept reminding us that through this, even this, I demonstrate that Jesus is enough, come what may. And so we were still struggling with how is this going to turn out. That Megan was the cheerleader for faith. And my sister-in-law, Megan's mother, and I had just been to a conference where they encouraged us to have a method to be able to intentionally transfer our faith to the next generation. And so this lady's particular way that Kathy and I both adopted was that when there was a special blessing or there was a miracle, that we would write them on a stone with a permanent marker so they could never be erased, and they'd be put into a vase. And then every year we would share these with our kids and just go over the stories of God's goodness. So Kathy and I had just started that. So my journal was going to be for all of our stones. I never dreamed it would eventually become a book. And then after I started traveling, talking about my book, people began to encourage me to write a screenplay. Well, that was new to me, so I had to go through some time of educating myself in writing that screenplay. But I have a special passion too, because I am a recipient of 2 corneal transplants. And so just the whole story of her needing a heart, a donor heart at the very last minute when she was too sick to even receive a heart, coming, for her to save her life, and God helping her to be well enough to be able to receive the transplant. It spoke to my heart personally because my own transplants, my own transplant story. And
so do you think that this screenplay and this film in general is one of those stones that you've written on for the next generation?
It absolutely is. And my grandkids read the book, and I believe that this, when God makes this passion for this screenplay come to the big screen, it will be all for His glory and for my grandkids to never forget that we serve a powerful God who gives us miracles, but then when miracles don't come when we pray, because there is a twist in the story, and when that time comes, God is there with us. He is still there to be able to help our hearts to beat again, and that we can continue to have faith. And it's actually, I think that's the powerful part of the story, that as we struggled and wrestled with our own faith during that time, we were able, people watched our lives and how we were handling it. And so it was really God's grace during that time that has become the focal point where people are still following the blog, still following the story of what's happening.
So your life was the story, now the film's going to be the story.
Yes.
If somebody wants to help partner with you guys on this story, what are you guys needing for the near future?
At this point, we are looking for a production team, and we are looking for investors who would believe in the story, the spiritual part of the story, or donate life. The American Heart Association, those people, that you have a passion for those things. So we're needing investors. I have a few cast members that we've contacted that will be casting. And a lot of prayer for the project. And they could reach me at Bushey, that's Bushey 7, because I have 7 grandchildren. sbushey7@gmail.com.
Perfect. Okay, guys, you've heard her story. You see the vision. Contact her at sbushey7@gmail.com. Thank you, Sharon, so much for sharing your story.
And thank you for the opportunity.
We'll see you guys soon.
God bless.
Thank you.